GoogleAdsStrategy.com.
Hello and welcome to the Google Ads Strategy Show, where I answer your questions about Google Ads. I'm your host, Kyle Sullerud, and today I'll be answering the question, how do I increase ROI? If you're not familiar, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Now, I'm going to start by defining that a little better. I'll talk about the formula we would use to calculate ROI, and then I'll get into what we could actually do to increase our ROI. But first, let me just say this actually is not the best question to be asking. And once I explain the formula, hopefully you'll understand that a little better. But ROI is not necessarily something that you want to increase. So let's talk about the formula. If we were to spend, for example, $10 in ads to make $100 back, that gives us a gain of $90. So $90 then is 900% of our initial $10 investment. That means our ROI is 900%. Okay, hopefully you follow that. Let's look at another example. So another example, we spend $100 and we make $300. So 300 minus the 100 we spent gives us a gain of $200. In this example, then, $200 compared to our initial $100 investment, the $200 is 200% of the initial investment. So that gives us a 200% ROI, a 200% return on investment. So in the first example, we had a 900% return on investment. That sounds really great. The second example, we had a 200% return on investment, which should also sound really great, but not as great as the 900%. But which would we rather have? In the first example, we had a profit of $90. In the second example, we had a profit of $200. I don't know about you, but I would prefer the $200, which is actually the lower ROI of 200%. So that's why I think this question is not necessarily the right question, because you can have a fantastic ROI, but it could mean you're being too restrictive in your investment, and there's just not a lot of opportunity to actually make profit. Okay, whereas if you were willing to invest more at perhaps a smaller ROI, there could be a lot more profit potential. So that's my take on ROI. It's not necessarily the right metric to chase. I prefer to chase profit because I can put profit into my pocket. I cannot put an ROI percentage into my pocket. But with that in mind, let's talk about what we can do to actually increase ROI. There are basically two things. We can decrease the amount we're investing, or we can increase the amount that we are making. So to decrease the amount that we're investing, this type of thing we would do within Google Ads. We basically spend less. We'd look for areas where we do not have a high ROI, and we would spend less. So we can do this by excluding certain keywords, excluding certain audiences, excluding certain locations, excluding certain demographics, or maybe not excluding these completely, but spending less on them, maybe bidding less on some of these things that do not have as high of an ROI. By default, then, we are spending more on things that do have a high ROI, at least comparatively. So that's going to give us an overall increase in our ROI. We can also just bid less overall, which is going to affect our average ad position. It's going to affect our traffic. We're going to get less traffic, but we will be paying less on average per click. So we'd be paying less for that traffic, and if that traffic then went on to buy at a rate that is normal, then we would be increasing the ROI. Hopefully that makes sense. So essentially, we're spending less in the hopes that the amount we're making does not decrease by the same that we're decreasing our spend. So if I'm starting out by spending $100 and I'm making $300, if I drop that all the way down to spending $10, and now I'm just focusing on the traffic that's giving me the best ROI, maybe now I'm making $100 from that traffic, which is a much higher ROI, but again, it's a lower actual profit. Okay, in a perfect world, I'd go from 100 spent, 300 made, down to 10 spent, but still have 300 made if I was somehow able to only cut out the traffic that was not going to become a customer. That doesn't really happen, but that's kind of the goal. If you're going to be spending less, the goal is to not really take away from any potential sales. We only would want to cut out non-customers, people who would never have purchased in the first place. So from the spending less side of things, that's how that would look. Now, we can also increase our ROI by making more. So we already have this traffic coming over from Google Ads. Can we make more from this same traffic? Well, yes, there are usually lots of ways to do that. I'll look at this from the perspective of a company that's generating leads. You would apply this in a similar way if you were doing direct online sales. But if we're a company that's generating leads, the first thing would be to increase our lead conversion rate. So more people coming to our website are actually becoming a lead. They're calling us, they're filling out our contact form, whatever a lead is to us. And we do this by making improvements to the website, improvements to the landing page. Perhaps we improve the offer. Sometimes you can just improve the layout of the landing page. You can add more relevant information to the landing page. Lots of things you can do. I'm not going to get into everything in this episode, but increasing your lead conversion rate is one way you would make more. So from the same amount of traffic, you're getting more leads, which in turn leads to more sales. Speaking of more sales, there are also ways to increase your closing rate. So, of course, not all salespeople are created equal. Not all sales processes are created equal. So there are lots of ways, again, I won't get into here, to increase the sales that you are getting from your leads, depending on how those leads are being handled, what types of things you're offering, who is talking to them, what are they saying. If you increase your closing rate, you will increase the amount you make and therefore increase your ROI. You could also increase your average order size. Maybe you are undercharging now and you can simply increase your rates. You can increase the amount you charge. Or perhaps there's more that you could add. You could add additional services that kind of come with whatever you're selling now. Those services don't cost you as much to deliver, but they would add a lot more to the overall amount that you're charging a customer. So you can increase your average order size, which would in turn increase your return on investment. You could also increase the lifetime value of a customer. So once you get a customer, you've already paid to get the customer, right? You've already invested the money in the advertising. Now you have a customer. If you're a company that typically just does one transaction with a customer, perhaps there's a way for you to start to do more transactions with the customer. Maybe there are additional things that you can offer them. Maybe there's some kind of a monthly maintenance plan. Maybe you get a better system in place to reach out to these people months or years later when you think they're going to need your services again. Lots of ways to increase lifetime customer value, which in turn will increase your ROI. Now, most of what I've talked about here is also going to increase your profit. Okay, I said earlier, profit is far more important than ROI. I did this whole episode because these things are also going to increase your profit. Okay, increasing your conversion rate, increasing your closing rate, increasing your average order size, and increasing your lifetime customer value. These are not only going to improve your ROI, they will also improve your profit. The better question at the beginning of this episode would have been, how do I increase my profit? But enough people ask the question of increasing ROI that I wanted to start there and kind of move towards the ultimate goal of profit. So that has been today's episode of the Google Ads Strategy Show. Again, my name is Kyle Sullerud. You can ask me a question by going to googleadsstrategy.com, and I might answer it on the show. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you later.